So, what's new? Tell us about the fish.
Yeah, the fish is good. So both Hannah and Keegan raced twice.
Oh.
So they both were in an eight in a quad and they did good. It's hard. There's a lot of competitive teams. I think they finished at least, well, for most of them, they finished middle of the pack, maybe a little better. And then I think overall for the quad, which is probably Hannah's like favorite one that she
Mhm.
did. I mean, the eight was nice because it was all of the varsity girls together. And I think I'm gonna guess that the conditions were a little different for Saturday when the college teams and the masters rode because I was kind of just out of curiosity looking at the times. So her eight would have finished like, I can't remember, fifth or sixth
Mhm.
out of all the college A boats.
Oh, wow.
So I'm guessing maybe there was a little bit of headwind for the colleges. I'd
Yeah.
love to know for sure because, that might boost some of those high schoolers' egos. I mean, some of those high school teams are fast. But yeah, so we always like to watch from up near the start. So for the head of the fish, you know how terrible it is to watch that race anywhere near the finish line. The bridge is like really one of the only options down near the finish, but you're already past the finish for both states and for the fish. At least I'm pretty sure for the fish. I haven't been down there for like to actually watch the race in years. So we do the drop off to the kids get dropped off, and then we head up to the start. And there's a little restaurant there. I'm letting my secrets out, but they're closed on Sundays, so it might be a little bit different for Saturdays when their other teams are racing. But there's a bridge up there too. It's right near the Skidmore Boathouse, and so you can really see them race. They go underneath the bridge. It's a low bridge, so you get pretty close. You can get some good shots, and yeah, so it was a really nice it was a nice day. It was cold in the morning, but it warmed up. No weather. It was really just a perfect day. And then the only thing is that they just don't have any cell service. It's terrible. It's so bad. And they're like pretty much like the kids are abandoned because you're like you have to like either you commit and you park and you're either doing the shuttle or you're walking like a mile
Mhm.
and then walking, down to where they are, and then you're just kind of hunkered down there for the day because your car is too far away to like shelter in. So, or, you do what we do, but you're nowhere near the kids, so you're dropping them off and then like even getting in touch with them is challenging. How many conversations I had, like, hello, hello, can you hear me? I can hear you. So, and then at one point during the middle, because they both raced, well, there was a delay for fog. It was quite a significant delay too. It was like a 2 hour
Wow.
delay.
Oh my goodness.
There's a lot of fog.
Mhm.
And so they both raced their eight and they were almost back to back. So it was, I think, no, I can't remember who was first. I think it was Keegan was first in the freshman novice boys eight. And then Hannah had the varsity girls eight. I think it was maybe like the race right after that. So that was very convenient because we were kind of up near the start, so we could kind of see them rowing up to the start. And then kind of like from where you could see with the binoculars, you could see them getting lined up and
Wow.
staged. And
Mhm.
then like I could see from the bridge, I could see when they were getting ready to go. And then once they were done, we kind of hung out up there for a little while. And then I ran to Saratoga Apple, which I'm not shy to share that secret. They have some of the best cider donuts ever. It was only like a 5 or 10 minute drive from where we were.
Mhm.
So I go in and I'm like, I need 4 dozen donuts. And he's like, what do you need all these donuts for? Like, like it's a rowing team. And then I look at them, I'm like, I don't know if this is enough, but I'm not getting any more. So,
Mhm. 4 dozen is a
so
good amount.
yeah. And some of the parents that were hanging out up near the start, they had, said that they were interested too. So I looked at them and I'm like, I don't know if a half dozen is going to be enough for the parents. So I threw 2 extra ones in that bag and then called Hannah and I said, I'm going to the drop-off zone. Meet me there because I've got donuts and Crocs for you because she left her Crocs at home. So after I dropped them off in the morning, I had to go back and get her Crocs. So like I came around, there's that whole like drop off zone area,
Mhm.
and then met her there, and she took those, and then I didn't see them until I don't know, 4:30, 5, whatever time it was over. And then they had their quad races in the afternoon. And yeah, and I think they all were happy with the race. It seemed to run well. There was some gaps that looked like maybe they weren't necessary when you were running a little behind. But other than that, it seemed to go well. I didn't hear of anything else happening. But again, there was no cell service, so who knows what was happening?
Yeah. Yeah, the gaps are tough you think about like some of the bigger regattas and like you don't see those gaps and you're just like, why is they can run them so efficiently and then it's like you have your local races and
Yeah.
it's like you see boats and then you don't see boats for I don't know, half hour, 45 minutes and then you see a bunch of boats and then you're waiting again and
Yeah, there was I think it was when they were trying to catch up, there was some backing up. So where meters wise, I'm not sure. We might have been like 1,000 meters where we were kind of staged in the parking lot. No, it was probably not 1,000 meters. I don't know. I'm so bad with judging distance. But they're on there with a one single file under the bridge, and it's usually about like maybe you could fit two next to each other in the warm-up lane before you get past the bridge, and then you kind of go around a corner, and then there's like the staging area. At one of, I think it was before Hannah's quad, they were all just like sitting right in front of us, like not moving.
oh,
And then some of the officials that were on the water were trying to like usher up some of the boats that were a little bit behind, like letting them through. So,
yeah.
and it was getting a little colder at that point, a little windier. So, like I think this in the morning, they all knew they had their layer on underneath their uni. And then in the afternoon, they thought, oh, we're good. So they were just in their unis. And then they're just sitting out there. And you could see the girls, like, so we were in the quad. So they were like, had both their oars in there and they're just like huddled because they can't move, they're just sitting there.
Oh.
And then we just, we were like right there on top of them. So they're probably like, oh God. I'm like, Hannah, Dad's here. Because Chris was working and he's a trooper, so he was on duty. He had stopped by to see the races, and I'm like, he's here. I know.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're getting to the end of the racing season.
hmm
Like are they going to be coming to the plug? So
No, we're done.
you're
So
done.
the mods have their race this weekend, the mod champs. And
Oh,
I think it's supposed to be up at the Fish again. So, I
oh
mean,
my goodness. Yeah.
I don't have any middle schoolers anymore, but I'm on all the bands, so like I've been waiting to see what the plan is because our team has been involved more of like we were the organizers a couple years ago, so there was a lot more involvement at that point. But then the last few times, because there's a mod champs in both the fall and the spring, and even if we're not the organizers, it's our home course, so we get
Mhm.
involved that way, and usually they need volunteers that way. But this one is up in the Fish, so I have no idea what's happening. But our rowers, like the high school rowers, are so used to helping out. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with that, but that's on Saturday.
Mhm.
And yeah, and that's it. I mean, today was supposed to be the last day of practice, but they canceled that. Hannah was relieved, but I was a little disappointed. It was supposed to be a 2K day.
Oh,
She gets all worked up and
yeah.
nervous, and I'm like, oh, but you need to do it. It's like you haven't done one in a year.
I think I always thought it was a good idea to kind of end the fall season with that 2K because it just kind of, I mean, you're still in rowing
hmm
mode.
hmm
And you're coming off of the fitness that you had from the fall. So I think it's a good idea to throw one in there and be ready. And then,
Yeah.
then you can kind of like take your time. Like now, like you got like November, you've got December. Do they start back up with winter training in January? Is that how their schedule runs?
Yeah, the middle school does that, but the high school usually has a break until after. Thanksgiving, I think.
Oh, okay. So they're doing before, so they start up in December. So
Yeah. We're
uh
still waiting. Yeah, we're still waiting to find out. So there's some options that we have. And hopefully, I mean, the one I think that most people will appreciate the most is going to be at the school. So we're just waiting to hear if that's a reality or not. Just because, I mean, it's just so much easier for transportation. So hopefully that'll work out.
you
Because
guys,
we have our own ergs, so we can just like, as long as there's a place to keep them,
yeah.
bring them there, and then there's a weight room at the school, and I think they're just waiting to find out if that's all going to work out. And then there's the option to do it at the boathouse, and then there's the option to do something at like a private gym or something. So I wish we all had wanted to make this decision a lot sooner, but it always comes down to the wire,
Yeah,
you
it's
know.
it's tough to, I mean, because if you don't have a facility kind of set up, like I know when I was with Mercy, they were kind of associated with the school, but they really weren't with the school. So like the team kind of got last pickings as far as available space after school in the building, and
Mhm.
sometimes that meant that like we'd be in like a vestibule basically, or I remember one year we were in the cafeteria. That
Hmm.
was fun. But I mean, it actually worked in our favor because the cafeteria was kind of like a very long hallway. Like it was
Hmm.
like had in the center was like a long hallway, and then like the kitchen was on one side, and then like the tables were on the other. But we in that hallway we were able to set up an 8 on sliders. So
Oh,
we
that's nice.
yeah, so we
Yeah.
just took advantage of the idea of like, okay, we're just gonna set up the 8 and
Hmm.
well, and then our other ergs were kind of the kids had to move the tables like every day. They would get there after school, they'd start moving tables, and then the ergs had to be stored like in a hallway, where they had like all sorts of like sports equipment for gym
Hmm.
class. So they'd have to go and roll the ergs down and set up the sliders, and like it was a whole process.
Sure.
But it's better than not having a space or having to drive to a space and having to coordinate
Yeah.
carpool and all that kind of stuff. So it makes sense.
Hmm.
But yeah, that's always the challenge with winter training. And I had hoped that whatever gym space I got would be big enough to maybe host a team, but
Oh, yeah.
um I don't know. I could host a small team
Hmm.
probably in my space, like I don't know, maybe 15 or 20 people at the most. I have 9 ergs and 2 sculling simulators.
Oh.
So that's 11 people on machines. And then if the machines were like, if you do front to front, like I
Hmm.
could put the 9 probably kind of compact and then the 2 simulators and then like I have like weight equipment and that kind of thing. So maybe you could have maybe another 5 people on weights or something like that. So yeah, I mean, it's interesting because a lot of teams kind of have to do this at some point. You have to kind of decide, well, where are we doing winter training? Because a lot of times you can't do it at the boathouse, or you can do it at the boathouse, but there may not be heat or, that kind of thing. So,
Yeah, yeah. So Burn Hills has a heated side and it is nice, but it gets crowded. It's not, I mean, it's a good space, but having two teams there a couple years ago, we did it at the same time. And the problem is they thought the idea was if they opened it up and had it kind of like an open gym time and then you like worked with the coaches, like that idea in theory sounded good, but everybody came right after high school. So or like after school is that over? Like nobody came at like 5, right? Because the gym was supposed to be open until 6 or whatever.
yeah,
Nobody came at like 4:30 or anything. So everybody was there at the same time, no matter what. And then there was just never enough ergs. And then like Hannah was always the one that was like there later, so she never got the erg. And then she'd be doing her erg pieces by herself, and it just didn't wasn't ideal. So last year they split it up. So the two teams, Shannon and Burnt Hills, were using it, but they were on like alternating schedules. So they did like Monday and Wednesday, Burnt Hills would be like 3:30 to 5. And then Shen would be there from 5 to 6:30 or something like that. I can't remember exactly the exact times. And that way, at least like there was less kids trying to compete with the ergs, and then the coaches for each team were there just with their teams, which is nice. But then it was really challenging to like remember. And if you were carpooling, which most of us have to because it's a lot to go every day, you're
Yeah.
like, what time is practice today? Or then the kids would show up at home and you're like, oh, I have to get you to the practice today and pick you up. And then Keegan was doing the middle school, which their practice was at school. So then it was like he would have to get picked up. He didn't do it every day, but there were certain days that like he had to get picked up at the school by 5 and Hannah had to get picked up from the boathouse at 5.
Yeah.
And it's about a 15-minute drive.
Hmm. Yep.
Anyway, so it is. It's always a challenge and the kids like being together. So as much as like cross training is like a good thing, I think it's also like competing values, right? The coaches want the kids to be doing winter training. The kids want to be together. So like maybe good for kids to take a break and do something different, but it's a hard sell for a lot of them. The reason why they do rowing is because they're not interested in other sports,
Another
or
sport.
they've tried it and it's not what
Yeah.
they
And
want to do.
no, I'd rather be rowing,
Hmm.
And I think like as winter training kind of comes up and we're just as a little plug, Bright and Burn will be going on this year. So I think it's February, where'd my little paper go? February 28th, I
Oh
think.
yeah. Okay.
So yeah, let me double check my calendar and make sure I'm not giving people the wrong date. So in Brighton, yes, the 28th is a Saturday. They are going to be doing some type of, I think there's going to be a fundraiser. There's also, I think, going to be like you can purchase ergs. So if people need an erg, if they're in the market for an erg and they want to get one from the Bright and Burn, that's an option. Discounted. You know how
Hmm.
they bring in the new ergs, they use them for the ergata, and then you can pick it up afterwards. So, but I will be doing some type of training, virtual training, and it will be on Crew Lab. So
Oh.
workouts and everything leading up to the Bright and Burn will be hosted on a special Crew Lab team that I will be hosting, and I'll have more details on it. Like I'm kind of working out the logistics of it with the coordinator for the Bright and Burn. But you guys have an ergata, right?
No, we don't. So Niskuna hosts the Mohawk Meltdown.
Okay.
But that, yeah. So we traditionally like our team goes to that, but we're not part of hosting that at all.
Okay. And when usually is the Mohawk Meltdown? I think I wrote you a text about this, right?
Yeah, it's probably going to be on the same day as the Brighton Burn because I think it was March 1st last year. So, and it was a Saturday.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, do you think you're gonna do a 1K this
It's
year?
only a 1K. Oh, I'd rather do that than a 2K.
Oh, so
So,
so you have to do it. So for masters, you have to do a 2K at the
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah, the Mohawk Meltdown is just 2K except for ninth graders do a 15. Is that right? I think ninth graders. No, it was U17 can do 1500
Okay.
and maybe ninth graders. Well, that would be them too, but they have their own category. I remember they had like a category for ninth graders. Hannah's first time she was a 10th grader, so she just did the U17 category, and that was a 1500. And then they do have like a high school 2K. So
Okay.
like some of the girls that were her age did the 2K. And then I want to say the middle school does a certain amount of minutes.
Oh, okay.
Maybe they do like 2 minutes, 4 minutes. I can't remember. Maybe it's a 4 minute
Okay.
piece.
Okay.
And so that they just like see how many meters they go. So which is kind of nice because it's like they start and end at the same time. So it's
Um,
not like, it's always hard. And especially like you don't want to make any kid discouraged that young to like be still on the erg when
yeah.
like everybody else is already done.
Yeah. Yeah.
The older you get, then I guess you just got to deal with it. But like the little kids, like, it's nice, like nobody has, I mean, they can see it on the board, but like,
Yeah.
doesn't make as much of a difference. So yeah, it's a 2K. which
Oh, yeah, that's very interesting. So I don't know
mhm,
where we get this 1K for masters thing from.
I don't know. I mean, the Henley is only 1K for
Yeah.
masters, so
Yeah, I mean, I guess the like racing is usually just the 1K for sprint racing for masters. So maybe, yeah, maybe that's where it came from. But
mhm.
wow. So are you going to do the 2K?
No, I didn't do it last year. I mean, 1K sounds very appealing, so maybe I'll just train with you and just do the 1K and just
Yeah.
come out for that.
Yeah, the
That
one
sounds
the
fun.
1K is nice. Like it's almost like just when it's starting to get like super annoying, like I don't want to do this anymore, it's over.
Yeah, that's
Like
perfect. I love that.
and I use that Prodigy song.
Yeah.
And like that song is, I think it's like 4 minutes and 20 seconds or something like that. So, like, I think my best 1K right now is like 3 minutes and I don't know, 50 seconds or something. I don't know. But like, I get to a certain part in the song and like, I know that it's like almost over. And like, yeah, so that's my favorite thing about doing the 1K is that I have my song. I know when it's almost over, that one part in the song comes, and I'm like, oh, perfect. But yeah, I haven't done a 2K in a long time.
It's just so funny how it's like, well, it's twice as long, so I guess that makes sense, but it just seems like, oh, it's such a mental hurdle. Yeah, no, that sounds good. I would love to do. I've never done a 1K test before, so that would be kind of fun.
Yeah,
Does everybody do a 1K or is it just the masters? Do
just the
like are there
masters.
kids that go to
Just
that
all
too?
the masters do 1K, and then the kids are doing 2Ks.
Okay,
All the
okay.
kids are doing 2Ks. But like we could row the open category, but you don't get a handicap. So do you get a handicap as a masters rowing a 2K?
I don't know. Let's see. I'm gonna look at the results from last year.
Let me see. I think because I have my medals up here, I can check what my last time
I
was.
got a
Right here.
medal 2 years ago because,
Let me
yeah, I got third place.
um at the Shamrock Row, 346.
Oh, look at you.
I was third place with raw score, but
Yeah,
I came in first with my handicap. But
nice.
raw score was 346. But I think that's a 153 or something like that. But when I was at the burn, I came in second place with my handicap, but the person who came in first, like her Rob, like shout out to Carol. It was I think she was like pulling like a 148 or 146 or something like that. And I just can't wrap my like that's what I'm gonna work on.
Hmm.
Wrapping my mind around because I want to if I win, I want to win with my raw score, not with the handicap.
Yeah.
Like, 'cause, like it's like I don't know. It's just like you want to yeah, you want to win-win, not like handicap win. But I mean, handicap win is a win. I mean, I guess we're getting older, so we get a little advantage. But yeah, I would love to be able to wrap my mind around seeing 140 something for three some odd minutes and seconds and not
Yep.
like freak out. 'Cause
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, God.
I would have to, in order to train for that, I'd really have to, like, I don't know, I'd have to practice a little bit, like, at those paces. And I mean, I don't even know how long I could hold a 146 or something like that. Like, if I had to guess, maybe I could do it for a minute or two, but not all 3 minutes.
Hmm.
So it would definitely, I think it's more of a mental hurdle than an actual physical hurdle, probably. I mean, it's
Yeah.
definitely a physical hurdle because I know that I haven't practiced at that pace.
Hmm.
And then I liken it to like running fast. Like I've been working on running faster and like it's just feels different. Like there's like the mechanics are different because you're
Hmm.
moving your body so much more quicker. So, and I would think that I think I tried to do the 1K at like a 30, but to go at 146 or something that I'd have to be at a 32. or
Hmm.
like hovering between 32 and 33, and that's like a lot of turnover. Like you just because like on the stationary erg, you have to move yourself that fast.
Yeah.
Whereas on the in the boat, it's not, or on a slider, it's not really the same thing because you're moving the machine to you. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't know if they'll have a virtual option, so you could do the 1K like at the burn, like
Oh,
really.
maybe. Or I'll
Yeah.
just come out for it. I mean,
Yeah. The sham oh well, you got to be there for the kids are gonna be at the
that's true. If they do that, we'll see. I mean, last year Hannah did winter training. She did not do, it was optional. Like, I mean, it's a good thing, but
yeah.
we'll see. Maybe Keegan will want to do it. He's doing a lot of weight training, so, he might do decently. So,
Yeah, I need to get back into lifting more. And at my erg class, now that the erg classes are at the clinic and
mm,
I have the weightlifting equipment there, we've been doing deadlift, leg extension, and box step ups. And then so that's kind of like our little lower body circuit that we do. And then we're doing an upper body circuit where we do lateral raises, front raises, reverse flies, and scaptions, which is basically you kind of hinge and make like the Y letter. It works on like
mm,
shoulder blade strength. So
okay.
we've been doing those exercises. We're on like I think I'm going to change up the exercises for my erg class about every 4 weeks.
Hmm.
We're going to do like a little 4 week cycle on these particular exercises. And then probably mid-November, I'll switch the exercises around and we'll do something different. Probably do some bench press. Um,
Hmm.
which I'm always surprised. Like if I concentrate on my bench press, like I always feel like my rowing's stronger. Like,
Mm,
and I think and like, I mean, you don't really think you're putting a lot of power into like pushing your arms away, but I think it's more like the strength of being able to hold your arms and the oars out in front
okay.
of you. Like, I think that a bench press helps with that. Like, I feel stronger when I'm bench pressing and then I'm rowing. I can like physically notice the difference when I'm out there. So we'll probably add that into the next round. A little bit of bench press.
Nice, nice. I got to do more bench press because the last time I did it, I only did the bar. And
You know, they can start there.
it didn't seem too challenging. I mean, I definitely didn't feel like I could add a lot of weight to it, but I was sore. I was really sore afterwards. So I was like, "Ooh, I gotta do that more often," because I mean, it felt good and I felt like I did something after. But yeah, I should do that because we have a bench press, like a setup in the basement. And now that the kids are both doing it for their gym class, like weight training instead of like the traditional gym, I think we just need to like make more room down there so that we have more space. So because they're all learning, all the different things to use in the weight room. So,
I really think that's key, like being
hmm
able to be fluent in the gym space and be
hmm
comfortable, like, and of course I've got all of the equipment and I had it here at the house. And so, there were times during the summer I was trying to get everybody in the house to go out and to lift and being able to like stand there and be like, okay, no, 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 move your body this way. No, 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 like kind of think about it that way. And just kind of working through it in a safe, like, because I feel like people get overwhelmed in the
hmm
gym and then
yeah,
and then you don't try free weights. You're always using like the machines that you're like comfortable with or what you've been taught. And I think that like taking kind of the mysticism out of the gym experience and then being able to like learn it in school with your gym teacher teaching you the proper ways to lift. And I just think that's good,
yeah, yeah.
the kids to be able to do that. And then, I mean, just in general, rowing in schools is supposed to help kids like develop a healthy habit of exercise throughout
hmm
their life. Like, not for nothing, like all the 2Ks, the 1Ks and all that stuff and all the pressure and the racing and everything, all of that's supposed to kind of equal like eventually them when they're grown-ups, like them being able to take care of themselves in a healthy way and feeling like, yeah, I used to wake up every morning for rowing and go and exercise, and now I can use that kind of as a healthy habit, like going into the future.
hmm
We put so much pressure on these kids and you want to row hard or get a scholarship or, row for this team or row for that team, but it's really just like about personal health,
Yeah. No,
And
I totally agree. And actually, I think that's one of my favorite things about being a college athlete is that you like even though it's harder to manage, like it re requires a little bit more, well, I guess you have less free time, right? That's a given. You have less free time to work with, but there's less thought that you need to put into how you're spending your day because no matter what, you have to go to class. You're there for school. If you're an athlete, sometimes you have required study hall time that you have to go to, and
yep.
then you have practice time. So it's like built-in time management that you're actually not doing. It's just kind of required to get everything done. And part of that is staying fit and staying healthy. Like you're more likely to eat better because you want to have better results, which means you have to have a better nutritional plan and you learn about food that's going to help you instead of, hurt you. So it's just kind of built in there as opposed to like thinking that like, okay, well, I could just go to college and work out on my own, which you can, but that takes a lot more of your own motivation and intention, which is a lot easier to slip out of as opposed to when you're accountable to a team. So as much as, you're not going to school for your athletics when you're an athlete looking at colleges and if you want to row and you feel like you can, and I think there's so many options for rowers. I mean, there are so many programs out there that you could row for that, it might not be in Alabama like your cousin where there's like series of tryouts, but there's other programs out there where they need walk-ons or they need kids who know how to row but might not be like the fastest kid on their team. So yeah, I never want to push it to anybody, but I think it's just such a nice fit to have a good experience. And then you have like your people too.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
hmm
And like instant friends, instant like friends who are of different ages too. Like,
hmm
like being on the team, like there's going to be seniors and juniors, there's freshmen, there's just a large grouping of people and outside of your major too. So these
hmm
are going to be people that you may have never met
hmm
because, they were in a different major than you. So I don't know. I think like I'm pushing Luke to do something when he's planning on doing early decision to RIT. So let's keep our fingers crossed that RIT is just like, yes, we'll take you and here's a bunch
hmm
of money. Um
Yeah.
let's keep our fingers crossed that happens. But I told him, I'm like, you're gonna talk to the cross country coach or the track coach, or you're gonna row. I'm like, there will be no, I'm not doing a sport. Like I let Timmy off the hook and it was a train wreck because like you
Hmm.
said, he didn't have that push in the morning.
hmm
Like, get up in the morning, go to practice, and then you're going to go to class. And then you have
hmm
other people who are like, "Oh, do you want to do dinner? Do you want to do like, he
hmm
didn't have any of that and he just, it's tough for these kids because they're not as social as we were. Like we were
Yeah.
supposed to be social because there wasn't anything else to do. Like you had to talk to
Yeah.
people, you had to be a little bit like even the least outgoing were outgoing because they had that practice. But these kids can put their earphones on and they can put up like, go sit in their dorm room and interact with people, but not interact with anyone. Like, what I mean?
Yeah.
Be
Yeah.
online with people, but not
hmm
be in front of people. And I think that being on a team it just gives you that. So Luke will have to choose a team. He met the rowing coach.
Okay.
So when we did our little open house thing, and I'm like, yep, if cross country doesn't work out, he will be joining the rowing team when he gets to RIT. So yeah.
Okay. How is he feeling about that? Just out of
Um,
curiosity.
a little bit annoyed, but like, but But he saw what his brother went through. Like,
Yeah.
a sport just, or like, I would be okay with a club. Like, if he had a
hmm
particular club that he wanted to do that was outside of what his major. So he's film and animation's what he's going to be going there for.
hmm
And I was like, if there was a particular club that was not inside your major that you were going to be like all gun ho and you were going to go to the meetings, and I would choose that too.
hmm
But you definitely need something outside of like just the major that you're doing there. So And I think
Yeah.
rowing would be awesome. They have a beautiful
Mhm.
boathouse, and their coach is amazing. Carol is amazing. So yeah, so
Yeah,
and
I think that's good, but I think it's like, you present me with an alternative and then I'll consider it. That's kind of how we approached it with, I think with both kids, but with Keegan, he just seemed like he would be that kid that would be okay with not doing anything if we didn't force him. And he did Taekwondo for so long, and then he just kind of got to this point where he was like, he got his black belt and he was like, okay, I did it, and then he was like looking at the kids who did like the second degree, and he's like, I don't know if I really want that. Like, I did my thing, like I'm done. But he wasn't, you know what I mean? He was kind of like not sure what to do. And we always said, we don't care, but like we want you to stay active. So like, we will help you be creative about it. Like there's curling here. Like there could be we could check that out. There's archery, there's all kinds of things that you probably aren't aware of. Fencing, what John and Courtney's kids do fencing. Like we could look into that. But he like finally said, "Okay, I'll do rowing." And it seemed like he was reluctant about it. I think he likes it. He's a kid that he doesn't show like a lot of like he doesn't express himself unless you ask him a lot, but he doesn't fight us on it.
yeah.
He seems to like it. So, yeah, for now it's good. But I would be open to it, like if he's not into it anymore. Okay, but present the
Yeah.
alternative that
Yeah.
you want to try, even if it doesn't stick.
Mhm.
What's the next alternative? It's going to keep you moving. It's going to keep you, because I'm into that too. Sometimes I'm like, you know what? Like, I really enjoyed that bungee class. Have you ever
Oh,
seen that?
oh, yeah, bungee fitness. Yeah, I've done
The
that
bungee
before.
fitness.
Yeah, yeah.
I really enjoyed that. I don't think I would ever become like full-time bungee jumper, but like or bungee fitness jumper, whatever. Um, but I mean, it was so much fun. Like doing
Mhm.
new things, trying new things out.
I
I
mean,
love it.
yeah, I mean, especially in college, there's so many different things you can be involved
Yeah.
with, and like I think like sports kind of opens the door to like kind of okay, you're gonna get out of your room and do something, and then after that, like I mean, like at UB, there was like I think I did softball. We did what was the thing in the dirt where you played volleyball?
Oh, Ooze Fest.
Ooze fest. Like
Hmm.
those types of things. Like I think of college kind it's like being at a resort and like
Yeah.
there's like constantly something going on and free food everywhere. Like you could
Mhm.
probably not even have a dining plan and just kind of walk around a college and you'd be able to like get a cookie or get a bagel
Mhm.
or try a special latte or something. There's always something going on. And
Mhm.
and I think like being on a sport kind of like pushes you forward because then it kind of gets you in the know about things that are going on campus because
Mhm.
you're telling people about your sport and what you're doing and your competitions and then they're like, "Oh yeah, such and such is going on. You should do this. You should do that." Like it just opens up all the activities. Um there was a post that I had sent to my kids about college like this person said college is a series of like side quests. Like you ever play like a game where there's like a main thing you're supposed to be doing. So that's like your major. But then there's like
Mhm.
the side quests. And so this girl was talking, and it was a girl. Of course, my boys were like, of course she's done a million things. She's a girl. But she was talking about like she was like a judge for like a mock trial. She was a TA for a class that wasn't even her major. She's like, "Yeah, I did really well in statistics." And then they asked me if I wanted to be a statistics TA. And so then I was teaching people to like the next semester teaching people statistics, basically teaching them something that she had just learned. Like I forget like a couple other things like helping exchange students like learn English, like just random, like all sorts of things you can do. And I guess it's kind of a girl thing to be kind of involved in like 101 different things at college, but I
Well,
just feel
not necessarily. I mean, there's
yeah,
definitely, yeah.
yeah. I mean, but I think
Okay.
it's such an opportunity to explore so many things.
Yeah.
You're
Mhm.
just not going to have time like that again where you can like kind of free form like oh, I'm going to take this pottery class or go to pottery night, or I'm going to go and learn how to throw frisbees so dogs can catch them in their mouths. It's just like, it's like random crazy stuff. And like, that's like the time to do it. And if you don't, like, you just miss it, that opportunity totally floats by. So I don't
Well,
know.
and yeah, and it opens up a lot of doors. I mean, a lot of engineering students I work with are very involved in different activities. And, I think at first they get a little nervous about overwhelming themselves with their commitments. But, once they find a club, an activity that they're really into, they almost can't help themselves. I mean, I can't tell you the motorsports club, and it's not just motorsports. There's others too, but like those engineers really get into that, and they're traveling and they're like up all night doing like whatever they need to do to figure out because they've got their big reveal.
Mhm.
I took Keegan to the reveal last year and he was hooked. I mean, he was like, this is, I don't know if he wants to be part of motorsports, but he was like seeing the whole thing. It's
Mhm.
on a weekend and one of my students was like, can we hope you come, so I was like, okay. And Keegan, I thought he would enjoy it. And so, we went to campus. They have all their like posters to talk about the whole process of building their car. And then they bring you into the theater. And then they have this whole like light show and like the music, the hype music to get you pumped. And then they have like a speaker. And then, well, I guess the speakers first. And then they do the whole light show. And then they like reveal the car. And then you can kind of come on stage and take pictures with the car. I mean, all of that is
Mhm.
something the college kids in this program are planning, on top of the fact that they're building this car from scratch. And then they race it, they go around and they do all these different races and so it's a whole thing. And
Yeah.
they're still taking classes and trying to get good grades and trying to get jobs. And but that's what gets them the jobs, like that experience, those connections, they get alumni to come back and help them and sponsor them and those connections, that's how they get their jobs. I mean, I've got seniors that graduate in May that already have their jobs all set. They're lined up. And
That's
that's the norm. I mean, that's not like out of the blue. Like that's what these connections and those pathways lead to is because, they're looking for those students that are passionate and that are really interested in what they're doing. They're not just the kind of kid that's like, yeah, I want to be an engineer to make money, right? Like they're really into it.
yeah, they're like finding like the external value to, you know what I mean? Like it's like they other than just like getting the degree, like they're
Hmm.
finding like their love of it, like that's the cool part. And I think that if you don't have those other opportunities to kind of explore that part of you, like you'll never learn what
Yeah.
really like gets you excited and makes you want to wake up in the morning. So
Yeah.
I don't know. So Luke's gonna have to row. And in the meantime, I've got Mikey, who's my middle schooler, and he's so angry with me. Like he hates cross country. I mean,
Oh,
all of his siblings have done it. The coaches already know him. He's been going to cross country meets since he was like super small, even in a stroller kind of thing. And yeah, now that it's his turn, he asked Timmy, like, who's my oldest, he's like, so ever a time you wanted to quit cross country? And he's like, no, like you stay because not because of the running, but because of the friends. And he's like,
is there other stuff that he's interested in or no?
he's interested in sitting on the couch, eating candy, and watching YouTube shorts. So,
Yeah.
so yeah, he's my couch potato. And like now that cross country's over, the next set of there's no indoor track for modified. So, swimming is the one that I'm going to push that he does. But swimming's tough because Luke did swimming, and the pool is at the middle school, and it's just like because it's winter, it's cold, and the whole driving over there to go pick them up from practice, and it's like so our district, like we're like the furthest south you can be from
Hmm.
like the school that
Hmm.
and still be a part of the district. So the middle school is 20 minutes from our house. It's like
Oof,
pretty.
yeah.
So, so him being over there at a practice where no other kid is going to be, like Tim is not, my husband's not interested in him doing swim, but I'm just like he needs this. I'm like he just has to be pushed to try, like you just sometimes you just have to try these things. And
Yeah.
he's one of those kids, like COVID happened when he was in first and second grade. And
Hmm.
second grade is like a really important time for all of those, like that's when you do like those micro sport programs, and you
Yeah.
go to birthday parties, and you do all the little stuff. Like it's still that part of school where everybody's invited to everything.
Yeah.
Everybody does everything. All the parents know each other, all the kids know each other. And because he was, home for first and second grade, I feel like he kind of missed out on all of that stuff. And so he did basketball at one point, and but my older two, they did soccer, baseball, basketball. They did Cub Scouts. They just did a bunch of stuff. And I guess it's like, when you get to your youngest kid,
Hmm.
they get a box and a stick and a ball, and they're like, "Oh, well, enjoy." Like you're not doing these elaborate things with them. And so I'm just kind of like, now that he's in middle school and he has access to all these different programs, I'm like, he should be able
Hmm.
to try everything out. So, um yeah, I don't think he's going to be super excited. He's not excited about doing swimming, but I might make him do it.
What about martial arts? Has he ever considered that, or is it not?
Um, we've never done that. We've never done any, yeah, that maybe he'd be more interested in something like that. Like he really enjoyed basketball.
Hmm.
Like it was like one of these things where he was in a camp, and then he did like a tournament league. And the tournament league didn't have a lot of kids who were his same size or his same age. And so he was playing up, and it was just really hard. Like it got really hard, and that made it not fun.
Yeah.
Mhm. So yeah, maybe something like a martial arts or something would be better, to try during the winter.
Or just think like I was just thinking like present an alternative, like because
Yeah.
swimming's tough. I've ran that with Keegan. So Hannah did swimming in the summers, and then Keegan, we tried to get him to do it, and it's hard because like you said, like that was in the summertime. I mean, look, granted, the pool was really cold at the beginning of June. Um, I'm somebody who loved to swim, and I'd say Hannah's similar to that. And
Yeah.
like, it was like swimming practice was hard, and then like having to have wet hair in the winter was hard. And yeah, I did it because I loved it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like to not love something, I do try to keep that perspective too, because like if I wouldn't ever want my kids, like I was even from the parents' perspective. Like I had a parent who was talking about bringing her other kids to the Charles and how bored they'd be. And my first instinct was like, I don't know how you could be bored at the Charles, but like then I
Yeah.
had to stop myself because I'm not I don't know how old they are, like 13-year-old boys like
Mhm.
that aren't into rowing. Like
Yeah.
yeah, maybe they would be bored. Like like to me it's you know, I can't imagine it, but like then I put myself in like if like my kids were really into volleyball or something
Yeah.
that I know nothing about and I had to spend all day at a volleyball tournament, I would probably be bored, right?
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I try and keep that like, or if like my dad did force me to row, but like eventually I loved it. If I didn't love it and he kept forcing me, I would probably resent it too. So I don't know. It's hard, right? Because
All right,
it's
because
the
you
same
have to
thing.
stand on that line of like getting them to do something or
Right.
like forcing them to do something. So
Yeah. And that's hard because you don't want Hannah tried out for swimming and I remember like for the high school it was just so hard. Like
mhm.
it was just such a level up from what she was used to and like she did the tryouts. It was like a week-long tryout and Chris took her because it was like all day long. I don't know. It's
Wow.
insane.
Yeah,
And
that's what
he he went to drop her off the second or third day and she like couldn't get out of the car, but she couldn't talk about it either because like she knew that I don't know, she just didn't want to like give up or something and she just was like I really don't want to go. and it's like,
Um,
it's like, okay, fine. Like you tried it,
Yep.
but she was the slowest kid, and even though she was a great swimmer, she was the slowest kid each time. And that meant she got no breaks, right? So they would do their laps, and the fast kids would have all this break because they were waiting for the last kids, and then the last kids had to go right away. So
Uh,
she was just exhausted, and it wasn't fun.
yeah, the middle school swim was much more it's much more relaxed than
That's cool.
Luke did because he did middle school swim and Luke's a pretty good swim. Emma and Luke are very good swimmers. And because Luke did middle school when he got to high school, the swim coach was like, you gotta do swim, you gotta do swim, even though he had done cross country and he wanted to do indoor track. And so
Hmm.
he ended up doing, I think that was freshman year, he did swim. This is senior year. So I think he did freshman year and sophomore year, he did swim during the winter. And so he would skip indoor track. And then last year he was like, nope, I'm not swimming. I'm doing indoor track. So he did indoor track last year and he's going to do indoor again this year. But those swim kids in high school, they're serious. Like it's no
Yeah.
joke. Like they're very like, and I think the practice like was 2.5 or 3 hours like every day. Like their coach was like, it was weird. Like their coach was very like on them and very like it was yeah, it was intense. So
Hmm.
like it wasn't like I could tell Luke wasn't having as much fun as he does when he runs.
Hmm.
So when he decided junior year that he was not going to do swim, I was like, that's fine because it
Hmm.
swimming was definite. It was a much more competitive type of experience than not that track isn't competitive, but
Hmm.
like there's something about how the track coach, the indoor outdoor track coach, and he's also does cross country, the way he runs his team, which is like hats off to him. Like I don't know how he creates this culture. And I don't know if it's just the sport that kind of lends
Hmm.
itself to there being a competitiveness, but not a competitiveness that's like toxic
Hmm.
team. And like
Yeah.
I don't know how he does it. And like I like to give him credit for that, that like he does not create a toxic competitive environment. And because it's not like that, the kids work hard, they cheer each other on and they're competitive with the other teams to a point. Like even like I mean some of these kids have been running for so long that they know the kids on the other team. Like, if you
Hmm.
both run this event, you might know the kid from the next school over because you guys are always, especially track. I mean, they have the two meets during the week and so like you're always out there together, even cross country too. These kids kind of learn about each other because they run with each other and there's just something about the way that they're able to make the environment just so welcoming and fun, but like they want to get better. They want to run faster. So, but that wasn't it at swim. Swim in the high school was, it was competitive and I don't want to say in a toxic way, but it was not fun. Like,
I wonder if it has something to do with, and I don't know that much about either of these, like at that level, but
yeah.
does track really have like if you almost like no cuts, like you can like there's no limit to how many you have in and your team racing each
Yeah.
event? Because I feel like swimming does. Like swimming kind of has like, or at least it's kind of that's kind of the way from an outsider looking in, it looks like, you've got your butterfly people, you've got your breaststroke people. And then like if there's only like three that compete and you're like the fourth fastest and breaststroke's your favorite, like it must always feel like that edge to be
Yeah.
like I'm in, I'm out, I'm good
True,
enough, I'm
because
not good
like
enough.
in track, like especially indoor, well, for cross country, there's like basically no cuts.
Okay.
There's time standards though. So if you
Okay.
see certain time standards, then that puts you on like it puts you on like the count, like there's like first county team, second county
Hmm.
team, and those are all like by time. And then you don't get your varsity letter unless you meet the time standard. There's like a base time standard. However, like say you run like the 1600 or something like that. So it's like the mile for the boys, and you run and you're not running a 4 minute mile. Like there's several heats. So you potentially could be in heat 5 And like, the best kids are going to be in like heat one, but
Hmm.
you still get to run. Like you still get
Yeah.
to run your favorite event. So maybe that's the difference is that like the coaches don't have to make those decisions. Like they just
Mm-hmm.
you get to run no matter what, and they'll just have as many heats as they need to let everybody. But like only the first heat will count for points, basically. The other ones are just trying to run fast enough to get out of the heat that they're in so they can get
Hmm.
into the first heat. But yeah, it's interesting. But
Hmm.
yeah, and you're right. It might just be the type of sport,
Hmm.
it just kind of lends itself to letting kids kind of develop a little bit more rather than being kind of like so hard and fast, like, because the swim meet has to move at a certain pace. You're only going to race a certain amount of kids, and you're gonna
Yeah.
you start at the beginning and run through the list in the end and have the divers in the middle. Oh, the divers.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's again, I have no idea, but like I get the impression that the toxicity is not unique to any particular team because I've heard that about swimming before.
Yeah.
And and then it's also almost like college recruiting because I feel like you're either like they want you so bad because they need you as like
Mhm.
if they only have two freestylers or
Yep.
whatever, butterflyers, and they need that third one. They're like, "We need you, we want you." Like we had some rowers that were swimmers, and they were like heavily getting told like, "We need you on our team." Like we're, like
Yep.
whatever, like guilt trips, like
It does
whatever.
happen to Luke. He got guilt tripped into, not guilt
Yeah.
tripped, but basically guilt tripped into, like I think they had lost because Luke did freestyle. He did the relay too, like I forget what it is. He did the freestyle relay thing, and then there's like isn't there the one where like everybody does something different? I forget. I think,
So there's the medley relay, and
yeah.
then the individual medley relay, or not
Yeah.
individual medley, right? Because that's the one where you're doing all the strokes, but you're not with a team. And then
Yeah,
there's the
he didn't do that one. He did the one where everybody does the different one, I
So
think.
that's the medley relay, I think.
Yeah.
Yep.
So he was doing that, and then he was doing just, I forget. Yeah, because it was so long ago. I'm like, and it was such like a glimpse of like what we did. Like, I'm more versed in what their events are for track and stuff now than
Yeah.
that. But I mean, it is what it is, and
Yeah.
you're just trying to find something fun for the kids to
I
do.
know.
Like that's the basics of it. Like
Yeah.
fun, and then they don't sit on the couch and watch YouTube.
Yeah, I know. I mean, my kids
What
do
they would
that with
choose
or
to
without
do.
rowing.
That's what they would choose to do.
Hmm.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
news,
Mm.
real quick, because oh my gosh, I've kept it for way too long.
Yeah.
Pull the plug, Alumni 8 were registered.
Okay.
I think by the time this podcast comes out, we would have already wrote it. So go ahead and look at the results and see if we actually row this boat. I've put the registration in last night. It went from like there were like two clubs listed to like the whole thing was filled up when I
You
looked at.
were right. Look at
Yeah.
that.
So everybody's gonna be in Pittsford on Saturday, and it's gonna be fabulous. So hopefully I get the last couple things so I can update the lineup, and hopefully I don't have to cox it, but I'll do it if I have to. So
Okay. Well, I probably won't be there, but like good luck and have fun and
it'll be awesome.
enjoy. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, and maybe we'll do more alumni boats now that I have access to the Regatta Central profile. Maybe we can
Yeah,
do stuff. That would be amazing. So.
definitely. All right. Sounds good.
All right, have a great rest of the day,
You
and
too.
thanks everyone for listening.
Yeah.
And I'll keep you posted about Ergatas and Crew Lab when I get that all set up.
All right. Sounds good. Maybe we can get some of those alumni to join
Oh
your
yeah,
training program.
that's right. That's a great idea. Very
All
cool.
right. All right, Adrian.
All right,
See you later.
take care. Bye
Bye.
bye.